Let's set a record on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. I would love to get more subscribers off today's video than any video we've had for the entire month of December. Let's make it a December to remember here on Seahawks Today. Our current record right now is 33. Could we get at least 50 subs off today's video? Why you should subscribe? We're bringing you daily Seahawks content, sometimes 2 and 3 videos a day, like what you're seeing here. We're also bringing you live shows each and every week. Watch parties on game days, breaking news, Q&A mailbags, and more. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/Seahawks TV, and we'll get started with today's show. You're watching Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Colin Cowherd of FOX Sports. He ranked the Seattle Seahawks in the top 10 in his latest herd hierarchy rankings that came out this week, breaking down the top teams in the NFL. The Seahawks slide in at number 10 after previously not being ranked. And he also gave an extensive breakdown of his thoughts on where this Seahawks team is at this point in the season. Let's let you hear directly from Cowherd what he had to say. Well, Seattle is not going to win shootouts. They're 0-5 if they're asked to score, give up more than 25 points, and Geno Smith has been sacked 19 times in the last 4 games. He throws too many picks, but I like the coaching staff. I like the perimeter talent at wide receiver and corner. Their pass rush is better than what it was in previous years. They're a top 10 team. I don't know if they can win a playoff game. Maybe, but I'll put Seattle at 10. 10 for me, I feel like, is a fair ranking for this Seahawks team. I think that's more than reasonable from Cowherd to say that they belong in that top 10 among the best of the NFL. But beyond that, there are some things that I agree with and that I disagree with on Cowherd's assessment of this Seahawks team. Let's start with the offense. One of the things that Cowherd pointed to was that they are not going to win shootouts. And what I would say is, although he brings up an interesting stat, that 0-5 number that he mentioned in 25-point games that he was asked, in those situations where they give up 25 points or more. What I would point to as a counter-argument is, look what they did against the Atlanta Falcons when they scored 34 points. And remember, they got 7 of that from the defense. From a defensive touchdown that was scored there. But we've seen, I think personally speaking, that this offense can get the job done, that they have the skill position players like Cowherd had talked about. They have a guy in Geno Smith that has held his own in the past in some of these shootout games over the last few seasons. I just don't think that that's something that this team necessarily fears. If I were to point to, all right, how are the Seahawks going to lose this game? For me, it's not because the game turned into a shootout necessarily. Right now, the Seahawks are averaging about 22.7 points per game, which is about 15th in the NFL. So they're in the upper half in that category. Yards per game is 339. That's 16th best in the NFL. So you can see middle of the pack there. That tells me that, hey, they're better than most in those categories. And say what you want about Geno Smith. I know that Cowherd made the point that he turns the ball over too much, and you can see with the numbers there, he's thrown 12 interceptions compared to 13 touchdowns. But in those shootout situations, if the Seahawks find themselves in those positions because of the skill makers that the Seahawks have around Geno, I think that they have the horses to hang with anybody. Personally, I look at, can the defense get enough stops in those situations? I think the offense can score points, but we'll see as far as that goes. Do you agree with Cowherd's assessment on this Seahawks team? It's our pinned comment today. Weigh in, let us know what you think. Type Y for yes, in for no on our pinned comment today. Weigh in, let us know. Today's show is sponsored by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose 2 or more players on any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy points in football, rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey, all sorts of different categories to choose from. Go to PrizePicks.com/SaleItS, promo code SaleItS, and when you play $5, they will give you $50 to spend for free. You don't even have to win to get the money. Go to PrizePicks.com/CLNS. This week on PrizePicks, folks, going with Jaxon Smith-Njigba to have more than 63.5 receiving yards. Also going with Trey McBride of the Cardinals to have less than 64.5 receiving yards. If I put $20 down and both those hit, that turns into $60 on PrizePicks. Play along with us, PrizePicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. This time of year, folks, football, a big deal for PrizePicks with the end of the regular season in the NFL coming to the home stretch over the next few weeks. College football, of course, the playoffs about to start here soon. Go check out PrizePicks. Have fun with it. We're having fun with it every week, and you will too at PrizePicks.com/CLNS. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. So one point that Cowherd made that I thought was very interesting was when he talked about the players on the perimeter, the skill position guys, and starting on offense with what we've seen from Jaxon Smith-Njigba and DK Metcalf. To me, this is looking like a dynamic 1-2 punch that the Seahawks are putting on the football field together. JSN has been fantastic, leading this team in catches and receiving yards, 4 touchdowns. The last 5 games, he's had at least 4 catches and 69 receiving yards or more. He's been fantastic. But don't forget about DK Metcalf either. Remember, prior to the injury, DK Metcalf was on pace to have a career season. And part of the success that we've seen from Jaxon Smith-Njigba in 2024 is due largely in part to the role that DK Metcalf is taking on of facing double teams and creating opportunities for JSN to shine. So with that double threat, that makes this offense more lethal than I think people realize. And to Cowherd's credit, he acknowledges that they have those players to do so. Now, let's talk about the defense. One of the things that Cowherd pointed to was the corners, that he really likes what Seattle has there. Let's start with Devon Witherspoon. Witherspoon having a solid season, but I'll be honest, I expected more out of Devon Witherspoon in his sophomore campaign here in 2024. You look at the numbers, what he's put up, still looking for his first interception of the year, 6 pass breakups, 1 forced fumble, 2 TFLs. The conversation about Devon Witherspoon this past offseason was, wow, look at the progress he's making to lead this defense and to be that key defensive player. He's not having a bad year, don't get me wrong, but I was expecting to take another step up. Remember, he was already a Pro Bowler last year. Maybe I had my expectations too high, personally speaking, but I thought we would see a bigger jump than what we've seen from Devon Witherspoon so far at this point. Meanwhile, with Rick Woolen, I got to give you credit to this guy, Rick Woolen. He has improved after a down year in his second season with the Seahawks, where he really struggled with tackles last year, and he has made a valiant effort to fix that from where he was at a year ago, and we've seen the results. And the thing about Rick Woolen that really caught the eye was his ability to create turnovers, specifically interceptions. When he was a rookie, he tied the league lead in interceptions with 6. Last year, that number came down. So far this year, he's got 2 interceptions along with 8 pass breakups, 1 forced fumble, 30 tackles. He's been very good in man coverage as well. I think that the Seahawks, similar to what they have at the receiver position with Metcalf and JSN, a combo that's going to lead them for years to come. I think with what Seattle has with this corner room, with Witherspoon and Woolen, they have a terrific combination that should be around for a long time, that are just now starting to enter the prime years of their careers. Another point that Cowherd brought up was the pass rush, and he is of the belief that the Seahawks pass rush is better this year than it was last year. And I'll say this, the pass rush is trending upwards. It has greatly improved over the last few weeks after the bye week compared to what it was just a few weeks ago. And I'll say this, although Cowherd says that the Seahawks pass rush is better now than it was last year, statistically speaking, not quite the case, at least when it comes to sacks. the Seahawks averaging about 2.5 sacks per game. That's 14th best in the NFL. Last year, they were ranked 10th in sacks per game. So they've fallen a little bit, but I think that doesn't necessarily tell the full story of just how different things have been over the last few weeks. And the biggest reason why is what we've seen from Big Cat Leonard Williams. Leonard Williams has been, I know they call him Big Cat, but he's been a dog the last couple of weeks with, what is it now, 4.5 sacks in the last 2 games. I mean, he's been fantastic. It's just been a menace. The pick 6 was awesome and all that, and he's really elevated his play. In the last 2 weeks, for me, I look at with Leonard Williams have been the best 2 games he's played since he's been a member of the Seattle Seahawks. And you look at these statistics of what he's done. We mentioned the 7 sacks he has this year, 10 TFLs, 35 tackles. A lot of that has come within just the last 2 weeks. So what you're hoping for Seattle, with this pass rush trending upwards, that Leonard Williams keeps the momentum going from the last 2 weeks, and everyone else builds upon that. Not to mention, you're about to get Uchenna Nwosu back into the mix as well. You can never have too many pass rushers. Everyone should take a big step forward with the way Leonard's playing and adding another guy to the mix there. I'm feeling pretty good about where this pass rush is at. So, Cowherd had the Seahawks 10th in the NFL in his power rankings. Where would you guys rank the Seahawks right now? Are they the best team in the NFL? If so, rank them 1. If you think they're the worst team in the NFL, which I don't know how you could feel that way, rank them 32. Where would you power rank the Seahawks at this point? Put it in the comment section, 1 through 32. Let us know where you think they stack up amongst the rest of the NFL. For continuing Seahawks coverage, subscribe now to Seattle Seahawks Today. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.